Time now for our mission segment this evening, brought to you by Star Ghana with support from UK Aid, Danida and the European Union. In our first story this evening, the Bongo District Hospital has no children's ward. Children and mothers admitted are therefore combined in one ward. Congestion is also high at wards during the peak season.
This is the Bongo District Hospital. Facilities are in quite good shape, and so it serves thousands of people. But congestion is high.
During the peak season, we get a lot of severe diarrhea, severe anemia, as well as severe malaria cases. They come very ill. If the place is filled up, the only option we have, we don't have any private hospital in the district. The only option we have is to refer the patients to the regional hospital. You write a referral for them, they pretend they are going, and then they go home. When you refer a patient, and you yourself, you realize that the tendency the patient will go, or the parents will send the patient, is very slim. It is better we have to opt to put in 2 or more patients on a bed. The only thing we do is we put similar conditions together.
There is no children's block, and so women and children share one ward.
It will be easier to combine the children with mothers than combining children with the male. That is why we are forced to bring both here until maybe up to the time we'll be able to obtain a children's ward before we can separate them.
This is a worry for health authorities.
There are times you have 2 patients pairing one bed in the hospital. It is possible that you go to the hospital with one form of ailment. You end up by contracting an additional ailment. I want to add the hospital an additional ward so that it will ease, or we will be able to separate the children from the females.
A children's block started years ago is at the roofing level. Plastered and almost ready, this will provide a congenial place for children to be attended to. But before completion, authorities are pleading for support.
We have to sit down until it is completed and handed over before we'll be thinking of finishing the place. Then that will mean that it will lie down a while not used. So our plea to government, Ghana Health Service, Minister of Health, is to consider so that when equipments are being procured, they can take Bongo Hospital into consideration, especially this children's ward.
The Bongo District Hospital's challenges are many. There is no morgue. This is what is used as a morgue. Administrators have a headache.
This is what structure is used. Now, doctors here have explained that because of the inconvenience that dead bodies might cause to patients at the various wards, when one passes on quickly, the body is transferred here to allow those patients some comfort. Of course, lying beside a dead body isn't that comfortable. And perhaps that's been misconstrued as the morgue for the facility. But let me quickly also find out. So when the body is sent here, they don't stay here for forever until the corpse is picked.
No, they only stay here briefly. For instance, a patient pass on in the ward. Most of the time, they need to inform the relatives at home. You cannot just pick the corpse and send home. So whilst the body is kept here, they made their various calls, inform the relatives or inform their various homes that this is what has happened. And when they are ready, maybe at times 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, then they come for the corpse. Those cases that will be kept in the morgue, after staying briefly here, maybe an hour or 2, they might have organized transport to transfer the corpse to the mortuary in the regional hospital. There had been a few instances whereby a corpse may stay for about 1 day.
The assembly says this is bad.
What we have in the Bongo District Hospital It's a kiosk, a container. What we have to do quickly is to provide a mortuary facility for the hospital. As part of our plans in the utilization of the district development facility.
A very worrying situation at the Bongo District Hospital. We'll be following up on it and bringing you more on it subsequently. But from health, let's turn to education, as lack of accommodation for teachers in communities in the Bongo District of the Upper East region is hampering efforts at improving education. Teachers commute over long distances, thereby arriving late to school. The District Assembly, with its meager resources, is only able to renovate some old structures, while a greater number of teachers continue to traverse long distances to teach.
Accommodation is a big challenge for all of us here because we are about 10 teachers in our European Junior High School, but we don't have accommodation.
They are marching to class, but for an hour or two, there will be no teacher to teach them. About 10 teachers teach here at the Yompia Junior High School. Accommodation is a challenge.
Especially the rainy season, we don't come to school early, especially when it rains. So we have to wait till the water runs over before we are able to cross with our motors. And then sometimes the teachers too, they don't even come because they find it difficult to cross the river and come.
The junior high school teachers are not only those affected. About 13 teachers of the primary school have no accommodation. They trek from Bolga every morning. This is a difficult situation for school managers.
Because I am too big. Okay, but like this. Because I am too big. Okay. Because I am too big. Okay.
This structure is to have housed the teachers, but it is not. It has been left to rot. Only 3 teachers have managed some space here. 2 of the rooms have been converted into KG classrooms. This is because the KG structure is almost falling. Pupils are no longer safe.
During the rainy season, we're almost living in a death trap. So due to that, our headmaster said, like, anything can happen at any time. So we have to move from here to the teachers' bungalow. When it rains, the place normally gets wet. When the children comes, some are compelled to move outside the classroom. So sometimes we will normally have the classes under trees.
But the converted classroom is not comfortable for teaching.
We are 2 in a class, and when one is taking the lesson, the other teacher is supposed to be supervising what the other teacher is teaching. So we find it difficult to move from one-to-one teaching, which is making our lessons not to be fully delivered.
The Yompia school has a population of over 400. The District Assembly says teachers' quarters built have not been maintained.
Government previously built some teacher quarters along the various communities. The problem has to do with the poor maintenance of those facilities. The European community, there's a teacher's quarters. If you go to Adaboya, there's a teacher's quarters. If you go to Sui, there's a teacher's quarters. So what we are doing at the moment is not to build teacher quarters or quarters for teachers. What we want to do is to take the task to renovate the existing ones. Because the European one, when we connected it to the national grid, teachers are staying there. Because they want to also enjoy some amenities, like their colleagues in the cities.
The Yompia community is hoping to lobby for more attention to put education right on track.
And that's how we wrap up our mission segment this evening on News 360, brought to you by Star Ghana with support from UK Aid, Danida and the European Union. You can get more on our website. It's 3news.com. It's still live here on News 360. Coming up next is some news from the world of sports. Stay with us. News.